Hey, you know, if you move your joints and levers during the golf swing just right, you can really create a lot of effortless speed and power. And in this video, I'd like to show you one neat little trick or little move that's going to help produce what you might call a slingshot effect. Not only will get your club head moving faster, but will also give you more squaring force so you can hit the ball straighter as well. Let's get into it right after this. Remember, I'm on a mission to hit the ball longer and straighter than ever before, and I would love to help you reach your goals too. I hope I earn a like and subscribe. All right, so when it comes to getting this little, what you might call slingshot effect, we're talking specifically about the path of the handle and the way it needs to curve as it comes through the impact zone. What will happen here is, once you've got the shallowing move, and you've done that, and you've got that club to kind of drop into here, and your elbow is kind of moving in front of your pocket just a little bit. Well, now the moment of truth, the delivery part of the swing, right now is where we've got to get this handled and negotiate an arc. And if you're going to take full advantage of this slingshot effect, you want to get that handle or the mid-hands point arcing early and rapidly, in other words, a tight arc. So you're trying to make the handle end of the stick not go out to right field, not even straight, but you're trying to get it to come back into you in an arc, in a very tight arc, the tightest arc possible. You see what happens, it's kind of like a counter lever that slingshots the head around and speeds it up. So if I can get this counter lever working here, I can really get that club to respond by coming on around the handle, speeding up, and also you notice it squares it up quite nicely so we don't have to apply any type of rolling force to the shaft in order to hit the ball straight. So once you get that handle turned in the corner back here in the slot, this way, you get the club head kind of doing what's called a tumble, or tumbling outside of the grip like this, and that really gets it on its way to squaring up and speeding up. Now, of course, in the exit, you're also going to continue following the arc. So here, you're going to turn the corner here. The club head will tumble to the outside of the hands, and then you'll keep following through around to the left, just like that. Now, let me see if I can show you a good example of this. We'll come back and look at it in slow-mo in a sec. Okay, so let's look back at that one in slow-mo. You can see that I've got it reasonably shallow in the slot, about at my mid-arm point here. And as it moves further into the slot, you get that kind of tumble move. So the handle starts to curve inwards, almost like it's going to come back into my thigh like this. So it's kind of pointing out to right field temporarily, and then kind of bringing it back in. So you see my arm goes from a little bit separated, and it comes in a little bit tighter, causes this little tumble or slingshot effect to happen. And then we take it right around the corner to the left, and this way not only get a little extra burst of club head speed, but we're also going to easily square the club face up so we don't have to do anything extra with it. So again, think of this as kind of a counter lever or counterbalance point. If I just hold one finger underneath the shaft like this, and if I were to pull on it, you can see the effect that it's going to have on the club head is to accelerate it around the curve towards the ball this way. So we're kind of looking for the handle to do this kind of counter move. Of course, it's going to be going forward towards the target at the same time, so you don't get this pure kind of pulling back force. You get kind of a combination of forces, and it looks something like this, just like that. So it feels like I'm almost kind of pulling it back in, drawing my left arm in tighter, and almost getting the handle to get closer to my right thigh. And at the same time, of course, I'm applying this uncocking force into the side of the shaft this way, but hopefully not doing any twisting of the shaft that would make it much more difficult to time the face. Now, an excellent drill to get you to feel this slingshot effect of the handle coming around the corner in a tight arc looks kind of similar to a drill that you see me doing a lot on this channel, but this is going to be positioned a little bit differently. In this case, I'm positioning the head cover not only closer to my right thigh, rather than if we were doing the inside underneath drill, it'd be way back here, but I'm putting this a little bit more off my hip or thigh, and the head cover is going to come out and be much, much closer to my thigh this way. So we're not concerned about the shaft or the stick and going underneath and from the inside here. Instead, we're using this to get this change of direction, this curve on the handle path to slingshot the club head. So at this moment, I'm on a collision course to bang into this head cover if I don't make the turn. So think about a car making a sharp turn, and if it doesn't quite turn fast enough, it kind of misses the turn, goes off the road, hits the guardrail, goes over the cliff, blows up in a Hollywood movie. So at the moment, if I were to hit this, it would mean that I blew the turn. So from here, I need to avoid the head cover to the inside with my left arm and wrist. And you see the move that has to be made here will force the head to angularly respond and come on around the handle, square up, and I will continue that handle once it makes this sharp turn, makes the sharp turn right there, and then after impact, I'm continuing to arc both the handle and the club face around the curve to the left. So I recommend doing this exercise without a golf ball first, just to get the feel, the gist of this way of releasing the club more on plane. And I would do some back and forths. In other words, very slowly do some half swings like this. And you start to kind of memorize the feel of getting that handle to turn the corner, causing the club head to kick out. So the enemy is the handle or the hand path that kind of blows the turn. It either starts to arc too late, or when it starts to arc, the arc is not sharp enough. And what that's going to end you up with, if you film yourself from down the line, it's going to end you up with a club head and a shaft that is stuck inside the handle like this. And at this point, you're simply not going to get the angular response enough to get it around to square up. In other words, your car has missed the turn. You did not turn sharp enough and early enough, anticipating the curve, and you went right into the ditch beyond. And what's going to happen here is you're either going to block it right, or you're going to figure out how to spin the shaft to make up the difference. So you're going to spin the shaft this way in order to add additional squaring force that is not being provided by the path of the handle. That ends up being, sure, a good quick fix, temporary fix that may get you to a certain level in golf, but it becomes temperamental, and over time, your misses right and left will simply be too often and too large to really get good. So instead, you want to rely more on the squaring force coming from the kick of that handle this way. Practice that over and over till you can memorize the feel, and then try to put it to a golf ball. So I would estimate getting this good slingshot effect going here may add up to 3, 4, even 5 miles an hour onto your drive when you get it going really good. The best example that I can find on the PGA Tour would be a Sergio Garcia. Check out Sergio Garcia's swing, how he goes from so shallow. He's way below the forearm, probably as flat or as shallow as anybody out there is in the slot. But then you look how rapidly, how suddenly the handle gets arced, how quick and tight the curve of the handle is, slinging the club outside the hands, getting it to square up. And what I love about watching Sergio's swing through the impact zone is just watch the behavior of the club face. The behavior of the club face, it's just like it's a machine swinging it. It swings so perfectly on the arc, and the face is so square to the arc. There's not a single extra degree of closure that would cause him to mistime some of his shots and go offline. It just looks like he would hit every single fairway. All right, I'm gonna go back to work more on my slingshot handle path, getting the club to tumble and accelerate around the corner. It's feeling pretty good, and it's really fun to watch the ball fly out there long and straight. Hey, I'm Steve. Thanks so much for watching. And as usual, I'll either see you in the next video or I'll see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Everybody take good care.